Ju lutem shikoni pak ekranin me flamurin shqiptar. Keni një tabel. Faleminderit. Okay. You do. To conclude the Ukraine Southeast Europe Summit, we are pleased to welcome you to the joint press conference of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Albania, Edi Rama, and the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. Please, Excellencies.
Thank you very much to all of you, and first and foremost to all among you that came today to Tirana from our neighborhood. It is a very special moment for us here in Albania because we are not just being given the privilege to welcome head of state, but we are being honored to host a leader of a resistance that, as a matter of fact, is not just about standing against a brutal aggression towards its own homeland, but in the meantime standing for democracy against a neo-imperial dream in making. Your Excellency, Mr. President, dear friends, I am very satisfied that today we had the opportunity to reiterate our position, not just as one country, Albania, but just as a collective of like-minded nations and countries in the Southeast Europe that stand with Ukraine, stand with its right to its own territorial integrity, its own freedom of choice, its own democracy. As for Albania, we have made it very clear, and I'm very proud to say that it's not just the government, it's not just the parliament, it's not just the institutions, but it's first and foremost the whole nation, the whole people of our country that stand with Ukraine and support Ukraine with no wavering, and will continue to stand with Ukraine and to support Ukraine for as long as this will be necessary and as long as a just peace will not happen. Of course, Albania is a proud, although small, NATO member, and together with all our allies in NATO, but also together with all our partners from Washington to Brussels, we have condemned the aggression, and we have done all that we could and will continue to do all that we can to help Ukraine with all means. But at the same time, we are aware of our capabilities, and we are very conscious that what Ukraine needs is, of course, the help and the support of all, but first and foremost, the help and the support of the wealthiest and the biggest in our democratic community. And we see with concern that this support sometimes stumbles because of Ukraine becoming an issue in the domestic politics of one country or the other, or because of very long bureaucratic delays. But if democracies have their own procedures and democracies are more difficult and more complex to work and to get the results, on the other side, it's an aggressor that does not stop a second in hitting and in trying to grab more territories by taking ruthlessly lives of innocent people and continuing to destroy Ukraine and to make very difficult for the families, for the women, for the kids to have a normal life. And of course, we also hear with an unsettling, I must say, spirit, many people all over Europe that claim that helping Ukraine, supporting Ukraine, giving to Ukraine the means to defend its nation and its country, it's what is perpetuating the war. And they claim that stopping to give weapons to Ukraine will bring peace. This is not only cynical, but this is absurd, because you don't stop a fight by disarming the victim. You stop a war by stopping the perpetrator. And that's why I want to take this opportunity and to tell everyone that can listen that Ukraine deserves to be supported and to be helped with all the means necessary to resist and to make sure that every peace that will come out of this war is a just peace. A just peace based on, first and foremost, the principles of President Zelensky's plan of 10 points that we support and we want to see discussed thoroughly, seriously, by all the nations community. With this summit, I am satisfied that we have had the opportunity to make all our points, and also I am very, very satisfied that we had the opportunity to have our bilateral meeting and to talk about Albania and Ukraine for today and for tomorrow. And one of the things which is very important is, like an outcome of this nightmare, is that our friendship is being forged through fire, and for generations, Albanians and Ukrainians will feel much more closer than they would be in normal circumstances. And there is one thing more that now connects us, and it's one of the things that, in my eyes, show how much Vladimir Putin failed in his plan. Because instead of being taken hostage and being governed by renegades after a quick invasion, Ukraine is negotiating with the European Union and is being part of this group of countries from the Western Balkans to Moldova and to Ukraine that are all together in a path to join the European Union. So also in this, we have a lot more in common than we had before this war, and also in this we have a lot to exchange. I don't have but admiration for President Zelensky and the people of Ukraine that very, very impressively they are doing the two things together. On one side, fighting a ruthless aggressor, on the other side working to reform and working to progress in the process of European Union integration. And just before we entered here, I got a message from someone that is working with Ukrainian institutions about setting a high-tech fund. And she wrote me that, please tell to the President that all our team, which is a Western team, is absolutely impressed by the Ukrainian people we met and by their skills, by their will, and by their incredible talent in building together this high-tech fund. So, beyond the rubbles of the Russian missiles and beyond the wounds of the Ukrainian soldiers and beyond the death and destruction, there is a nation that is thinking and working every day for the future. So we cannot be more privileged and we cannot be more proud to be friends with this nation and to feel closer with these people and to imagine our future as a future where among true friends, as many as possible, by the way, will have this friendship with Ukraine. So, Mr. President, I know that in all this period of time, among other things that you had to do, you had to hear to many speeches, and you had to hear to many nice words. But I want you to fully believe me that everything you heard from me and from us comes from the heart. And what makes us even more eager to say the words is how much the Albanian people, the ordinary citizens of this country, support you and want Ukraine to not lose this war, but to prevail. So I am happy that you kept the promise. It was a promise that you made to me when it was peace and before the war to come to Albania. And I want to guarantee you that now and ever Albania is one of your homes and is one of the places where every fellow citizen of yours can feel at home. And we look forward to strengthen our collaboration. We look forward to identify together and to work for opportunities of cooperation. And we look forward to be able to be with you and to be with the Ukrainian people the day that, thanks to all these joint efforts, but first and foremost to your effort, Ukraine will breathe freely and will enjoy peace, and why not enjoy sleep without the alarm that announces the next missile coming over the head. Thank you again, and the floor is to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Шановний пане прем'єр-міністр, шановні колеги, шановні журналісти. Передусім я хочу подякувати вам, Еді, пане прем'єр-міністре, хочу подякувати вашим людям, всій Албанії за щиру, принципову підтримку нашої держави, щиру підтримку України, наших людей, загалом справедливості у Європі. Україна цінує кожен прояв вашої допомоги, яку ми отримали у цей страшний час повномасштабної війни. Я дякую за оборонні пакети для наших воїнів. Сьогодні чергова підтримка від вас, від Албанії, від інших партнерів. Я дякую за політичну взаємодію і однакове, абсолютно справедливе розуміння того, що всі нації заслуговують на повагу та безпеку і на те, щоб самостійно визначати своє життя, майбутнє, свою власну долю без будь-якого зовнішнього диктату. Дорогі друзі, сьогодні відбувся вже другий саміт Україна Південно-Східна Європа. І я вдячний Албанії за прийняття саміту і за змістовну роботу. Прозвучали важливі наголоси, відбулись і ще відбудуться важливі двосторонні зустрічі. Я хочу подякувати кожному лідеру за залученість. Ми маємо спільну декларацію саміту, і в ній чітко відзначені наявні загрози, не лише загрози для України, але для усіх народів. Російська війна проти нашої держави є спробою знищити не лише нашу незалежність, а загалом міжнародний порядок, в якому кожна нація має право жити вільно та заслуговує на повагу. Путін не поважає нікого і не хоче дозволяти нікому жити вільно. І саме в цьому сенс його війни. Саме тому, якщо його не зупинити зараз, він буде розширювати цю агресію. Україна підкреслює, ми всі у Європі маємо бути готовими захищати свій суверенітет, національну гідність та спосіб життя наших народів. Кожен зараз під загрозою. У такої Росії значний інструментарій дестабілізації. І від прямої агресії до гібридних ударів через спеціальні політичні операції, щоб провокувати розколи в інших суспільствах, через дезінформацію, через економічний тиск, через поширення корупції, використання енергоресурсів як політичної зброї. Ми маємо разом позбавляти Росію можливості ламати наше життя. Кілька пунктів. Маємо нарощувати виробництво зброї. Україна пропонує спільну роботу, копродукцію у сфері оборони. Я вдячний колегам за готовність працювати зараз і працювати разом. Це і захист, це робочі місця, це економічне зростання. Маємо робити все можливе, щоб не було жодної затримки у постачанні зброї для наших воїнів. Кожна пауза у постачанні, кожен сумнів, що світ готовий захищатися. Все це надихає одну людину, це все надихає Путіна. І чим більше він бачить наші дефіцити зброї, тим більше він думає, нібито зможе дотиснути Європу та Захід. Це вкрай небезпечна ситуація для кожної вільної нації. І сьогодні за результатами зустрічі, за результатами цього саміту ми маємо конкретні домовленості, зокрема щодо зміцнення України, української артилерії. Потребуємо більшої впевненості демократичного світу у собі, більше впевненості у власних силах. Наша єдність, наші альянси – все це має значення. Кожна нація, яка прагне бути частиною європейської та євроатлантичної спільнот та поділяє спільні цінності Європи та Євроатлантики, заслуговує на повноправну інтеграцію. Україна підтримує інтеграцію балканських держав. Ми вдячні за підтримку інтеграції України. Дякую Албанії за укладений договір сьогодні про дружбу та співробітництво. І дякую усім лідерам за згоду взяти участь. Про це сказав прем'єр-міністр. Це для нас важливо – взяти участь в глобальному саміті миру. Наше партнерство України та балканських держав, України та усього регіону Південно-Східної Європи буде продовжено участю партнерів у першому глобальному саміті миру, який ми готуємо у Швейцарії. Ми можемо зробити цей саміт і всю роботу щодо формули миру результативними. Війну завжди починає хтось один, а от мир – це завжди робота спільна. Усіх тих, хто поважає правила, усіх тих, хто поважає інші народи, усіх тих, хто дійсно цінує життя. Світ більший, ніж будь-який агресор. І саме тому я впевнений, відновлення чесного миру можливо. І ми маємо це зробити. Мусимо. Дякую за увагу. Дякую за підтримку. І хочу подякувати за цей саміт, пане прем'єр-міністре. Слава Україні!
Now, please, Excellencies, there are some questions from the journalists from you. First question is from Denada Shkodrani, National Public Television.
President Zeleński, mirë se erdhët në Tiranë. Çfarë këshille do t'jepni ju për liderët e Ballkanit Perëndimor, por gjithashtu edhe për liderët europian, që ajo çka po ndodh sot në Ukrainë të mos përhapet në vende të tjera të globit. Ndërsa për ju, zoti Rama, a është në rrezik stabiliteti i Ballkanit Perëndimor nga Rusia? Faleminderit.
Дякую за ваше запитання. Я не знаю, чи правильно був переклад з вашої мови на нашу, але щодо парад, я вважаю, що те, що сьогодні ми всі сидимо разом за одним столом, ми тут знаходимося, всі, у кого є різні історичні приклади різних відносин. І я вважаю, що це дуже важливий приклад, що ми знаходимося разом. І це точно шлях до захисту, шлях до миру, шлях до вирішення будь-яких проблем. Це точно не шлях до війни. Я вважаю, і це не порада, я вважаю, те, що зараз відбувається, це правильний приклад. Він може бути навіть не дуже простим для всіх присутніх за одним столом. І ми розуміємо, про що ми говоримо. А може бути навіть для суспільств цих лідерів дуже складним. Не треба звертати увагу на ті чи інші провокації. Провокації точно роз'єднують, а сьогоднішній саміт – це об'єднання. Я вважаю, що балканським державам треба бути сьогодні разом. Я вважаю, що Росія буде робити все, щоб дестабілізувати ситуацію. Вона не проковтнула Україну, вона не змогла. Я вдячний вашим державам, всьому світові, нашим партнерам, те, що вони допомогли Україні бути міцними. І зараз треба не робити пауз, а посилювати Україну. Тому що Росія точно на цьому не зупиниться. А далі, ми сьогодні говорили з прем'єр-міністром про це. Росія робить висновки щодо помилок, які вона наробила на території України. І вона буде дестабілізувати, якщо їй дати ці паузи, якщо їй дати можливість вижити в цій агресії проти нас, політично вижити Путіну. І вона тоді буде використовувати іншу тактику. Вона буде робити вплив на ті країни, де вона може отримати одразу ефект успіху. А це значить країни менші. І тому під загрозою, я впевнений, і Балтійські держави, і Молдова, і Балканські держави. Всюди, де колись Радянський Союз мав присутність.
I was very privileged to speak with and talk with the President about exactly that. And I told him something that I'm going to show you, which to me is the most accurate, short, and clear answer about where the world can go if we follow Vladimir Putin's logic of justifying a war by calling upon the past. This is the Mongolian Empire, and Russia is inside it. So the one that published this wrote following Putin interview, but reassuring everyone that we Mongols are peaceful people. Now, imagine if in this region everyone starts to think in addressing international relations based on the maps. It would be a never-ending war. And what worries me the most is that not everyone is understanding today that for Vladimir Putin, attacking Ukraine is not just Ukraine. It's an attack on the rule-based world order. It's an attack to the community of democratic countries, and it's a challenge, the most ruthless, open challenge to the very existence of the European Union. Not because Russia will invade Germany, but because if this logic of waging a war based on past glories and past stories and old maps will prevail, then we will not live anymore in this world as we know it, but we'll live in a world where the might will decide and the rights will be undermined. There are many lessons we can take from our own history in the Balkans, but what is happening today in Ukraine is one more lesson to exactly not fall for relativization of this conflict, to not fall for relativization of the two sides, because it's very clear to us. There is a perpetrator and there is a victim. All the rest is dangerously misleading. When it comes to us in the Western Balkans, and we were sharing together some opinions, of course we are not a neighborhood with no issues. Of course we are not a neighborhood where if you want to wage war, you have difficulty to find maps, you have difficulty to find stories, you have difficulty to find a narrative based on old glories. On the contrary, we are living in a fertile terrain where a lot of blood was shed exactly because of fighting each other. But at the same time, we should continue and work together in a way that we cooperate for what we have in common and for what is common interest, and then discuss and debate and dispute, but peacefully, about what is not something we agree with. Because we need to strengthen our institutions, we need to strengthen our democracies, we need to strengthen our economy, and more strength we'll get in this way, less we will be in danger because of what is still unresolved. This is very clear. So, again, yes, there is a clear, real danger for the Western Balkans because of Russia's aggression. But nobody should see it like the Russian army coming here. But everybody should see it like what is happening there can be repeated in different ways by putting in question the very fundament of our rule-based world order, which is not a world where who is stronger, who is bigger, who has more soldiers can go and take over, who is smaller and who is weaker and who is less soldiers. This is dark age. This is dark age. So we very much hope to keep going together, to work together. And at the end, I would say that I see the connection with this community of countries that aspire to enter the European Union as an added value, because Ukraine comes in this connection with a lot of wounds that are going on, and an experience of pain that will be very valuable to us, because we'll always remember us that war is not something that we watch in TV and then we start to get lost between Netflix and reports from Ukraine. War is just as near as we are. As near as we are. And as impossible may look today that it might happen, it can happen. So we should not play with fire. And we should keep a clear opinion and a clear position on Ukraine. It's not about Ukraine only, it's about us. If we lose this clarity, then we risk to enter in a phase of darkness.
Last question is from Lazar Samini, Associated Press.
Mr. President, the suggestion from France's President Macron that the Western troops on the ground in Ukraine should not be ruled out was rebuffed by at least 4 European countries. Is that an ongoing discussion with the Western allies? And also, what's the response of the Western allies and the situation with the supply of armaments, especially of the ammunition these days? Mr. President, just to make our life easy, it would be grateful if you could respond in English.
Okay.
And sorry,
thank you so much.
Sorry, excuse me for the question to Prime Minister, just to
Yeah, this is what they want in the West, life easy. Sorry.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
In English.
Thank you.
Sorry.
But
Mr.
next time you have to prepare, ask me in Ukraine.
I will.
No.
I will. When you come next time, it's my duty. I will. Thanks.
It's
Mr. Prime Minister, Albania is a tiny country in the region, in the continent, and why not in NATO as well? So what's Tirana giving? What's the contribution that Tirana is giving to this unwanted war in Ukraine? And what does Albania take in its path towards the Euro-Atlantic integration?
Take in what sense?
What does Albania take in its path towards the Euro-Atlantic integration?
But take in what sense?
What does it win?
What does it win? Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
What does it win in the bazaar? Yes.
You will answer me? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for your question. First of all, I really had a very good meeting with Emmanuel. Last time it was very concrete with a lot of initiatives. Really, not one and not two. I will not share with you all of them. But for example, the artillery coalition, which is very good in connection with the United States and other partners. That is very concrete things. And we have to survive. To survive for Ukraine, it means to have very concrete decisions. And it's very important. That's why I can't share with you, for example, the number of artillery, the number of rounds, 155, Western kind artillery. That means that we have decisions, but what we need to survive. That means that everything, what we decided, where we have contracts or aid, it has to come in time. That is the biggest and the most fundamental initiative of everybody, just to give us in time, if they can, if they made a decision before to support us. And I think this is the question of, will we stand or not? And that's why he had a lot of decisions, how to change the time, how to be closer, how to strengthen Ukraine on the battlefields. So we spoke a lot about intelligence and etc., about the drones and co-production, technical things, a lot, yes. And those questions, what you shared with me now, so I wasn't in the summit. He said that he will spoke about some new ideas, how to strengthen Ukraine, and he said that he will share it with me when he will be back to Ukraine. He said, I think in media officially, that he will be in the middle of this or next. What is the date? Okay, in March, in the middle of the March, he will come back. You know, from the 24th of February. So all this is one day for us. That's why I don't remember what the date today. So I think that he will share with me, and I'll be happy to answer such questions, because I will be deeply in detail with details. But the most important to understand, so when we are sharing different initiatives, all of them, it's like, you know, it's like second, third step, the fourth step. The first step is to defend, it's just to stay, to be strong. I think that it's important, because now we have questions with these packages with our partners, European and United States. We are thankful again for United States, for their leadership during this time, and for EU partners and European partners like UK. But for today, it's important, yes, to be strong. We don't have time, and we don't have alternative, because all of us, we have deal now with a killer, just a killer. Yes, Hitler, part 2, if we are speaking about Netflix. It's not Netflix, it's a real life, a real dangerous life. Just, I don't want, God bless, you will never see it, but just we, all of us, I think we have to prepare. For what? Just to be strong. To prepare for war or peace, it's not about it. To prepare for Putin's next steps. If not all of us want to push him back, it means that we have to prepare. To prepare for what? At night, early in the morning, missiles. And Prime Minister Ramay said, and he was right, it's not, war doesn't have any distance. At night, middle of the night, missiles came to your houses. You just have to prepare. That is our signal. A stronger will be in Ukraine. More weak will be Putin. That is the answer on any initiatives. And if any initiatives in Europe or in the world strengthen Ukraine, they are good for all the world. Thank you.
So to answer to the question, that's why I wanted to have a clear idea about it, what Albania is taking, winning in its EU integration path. Listen, first of all, we have supported Ukraine also with packages of support. which are not loans and which are not also part of any business. We never asked Ukraine to pay anything from what it got from us. Modest, of course, these are our possibilities, but by no doubt we did and will continue to do whatever we can. But we are absolutely aware that for that front of war is very small. Why I say that? Because we are doing it for ourselves. Straightforward. For ourselves. This is not an existential threat just for Ukraine. This is a threat for whatever we think our future should be. This is not rhetoric. If we want a future in the European Union, we want the European Union. We don't want to see the European Union dissolved after entering in a never-ending corrosive infight about what type of rules and what type of values and what type of actions are justified or not justified. There were many sanctions on Russia, but of course we know that the dependence on Russian gas, the dependence on Russian oil, is not that simple. So the increase of the prices, the increase of the living cost in the wealthiest countries are part of the plan to make the public opinions start say, come on, we cannot continue to support Ukraine. Come on, we need... And you know, the problem is that if you take something from the poor, it's not something that will make him change his mind. But if you take something from the rich can get crazy, can lose his mind. So the calculation is very clear. And for us, this is the key. And we are seeking to join the European Union, and at the same time we are seeking to make peace and to have full cooperation within this neighborhood which is in the middle of the European Union. Western Balkans are the only reality, unlike Ukraine, that is surrounded by EU borders. And the European Union is the only reality in the history that has two borders, one outside and one inside. So we are inside the European Union physically, and we are outside of the European Union politically. So we want to be fully integrated with this body, and we don't want to see this body explode, because completely with no future. It's very clear. The European Union is not a paradise, on the contrary. But by no doubt, it's a joyful hell. It's not a bloody hell. And this is where we want to be. So what to ask more? This is the very fundamental thing we have to understand and to stand with Ukraine. Not only to think what we can win, but to think what we can give. What we can give more. It's not rhetoric. It's very, very... You have seen in the region several times and again how the Russian influence has brought instability in one country, other country. And if we are together still and standing, is because of the common aspiration to be part of the European Union. But if this aspiration fades away because the European Union starts to lose traction and to lose integrity, then it will be easier to go for caviar and champagne and blood instead of going for reforms and democracy and human rights. This is all simple.
And now,
Thank
at
you
the
very much.
and now, then, we would like to thank you all for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.